Welcome to Adopting Bitcoin, week 7.
Week 7, it's a news update. Another one here from Berlin. It's James and Charlie.
Yeah, we're waiting for those name tags to come up. That way you can see how special they are.
Yeah, just to
Joel's on it.
Make a few clarifications about those names on my part. That doesn't represent Bitcoin Cash. That's
good point. I didn't think I had Johnny Cash in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Man. So I'm good with Johnny Cash.
Sorry, it wasn't Bitcoin Cash. It was.
No, there shouldn't even be that. We should be like censored for talking about Bitcoin Cash.
We should. Yeah. Wait, by YouTube?
No, by the
by the community.
By the CEO of Bitcoin.
The CEO, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Since everyone's getting censored these days, right?
Like, oh my gosh, hot topic.
Right. Hey.
This is why you should come and adopt Bitcoin, because it's about freedom money.
Yeah, freedom money, and freedom to say what you want.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's just it's a bit ridiculous having people making software that helps billions of people get put into jail for doing stuff like this and not handing over data. That's something that I feel El Salvador is aiming to be at. I mean, Bukele's been talking about it, but...
You saw his tweet, right?
Right, yeah, but I've been able to have the most interesting, thorough and, rigorous, critical conversations here, even conversations with individuals across the country criticizing Bukele, which is one of the best signs to know that the place you are is good for free speech.
Yeah. I don't know if locals feel that free to do the same thing.
No, I'm talking about locals.
Really? With locals?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've talked to over 5, 6, 7 different locals saying...
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which is ironic because they're giving him a bit of shit while...
Yeah,
validating that they can talk shit, Anyway,
it's the land we live in.
So free speech and freedom money here in El Salvador, and for your chance to be able to experience that freedom money in November 15th and 16th, you have the chance to come to Adopting Bitcoin 2024, which is going to be in an amazing venue. Things are really coming together.
Yeah. And if you haven't watched Charlie's interview with Mike from Bitcoin Beach, I recommend you listen. At the very least, Nikki and I listened to it on the way home on Sunday, and it was a really good conversation. I was really impressed at how much Charlie pushed adoption, and I didn't realize crossing the chasm was actually a theme for this year's adopting conference.
Yeah, right. Actually, that's a really good point. Yeah. To highlight what crossing the chasm is. What do you think crossing the chasm is? What
I guess it was like crossing the Rubicon, right? Like you're crossing a point of where no return, something needs to change,
right?
Something a big event, right? But I hadn't really put it together on the website what it meant. I was just like, oh yeah, whatever.
There's deep meanings behind everything you see here. No, it is important. I mean, it's a psychological thing, and it's a group psychology that needs to change.
Yes,
and only once you're. I found this with a lot of people coming here that until they're actually here, it's like it's a 404 error. Sometimes when people are like, "Oh wow, you can do this, you can do Lightning," like. Even talking to individuals saying they've had like some real problems with Lightning. Yeah. Even this morning talking.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like not like they didn't have problems this morning, but these are maybe Americans or other countries that have had problems, and they're like, no, just on chain. Or a lot of people thinking that Lightning Layer 2 is a token. Yep. I've heard this being used as well.
Interesting.
But the reality is the Lightning is Bitcoin. It's like a channel that you're open, you're signing the transactions. It's just not broadcasted, and we use it here for over 95% of the transactions. Yeah, cutting our hair.
We buy. It's so impressive after going to Guatemala and struggling. But even like Berlin is actually a bit of a bubble, because we were in Ataco, which is Rutas de Flores, which is a little circular town of colonial buildings here in El Salvador. It's a great little tourist trail. Nikki and I spent a couple of evenings in there and talking to the locals and talking about Bitcoin, because everyone I went to, I was like, do you accept Bitcoin? And they're all like, no. And I even had a guy push back, and he's like, no, tourists don't use Bitcoin. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm asking you, right? And I said, well, actually in Usulatan, there are hundreds of businesses that accept Bitcoin. And all of a sudden he's like, and I'm like, I live here, by the way. Like, I've lived here for over 2 years. And all of a sudden he's like realizing, like he has this thing in his mind where he's like, tourists don't use Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden he's just been given education that the other side of the country has hundreds of businesses that are attracting tourists and spending Bitcoin.
Oh, stop. I'd say
so,
it's a hard pill to take.
Yeah, and this is for locals. So if you're a foreigner watching this and thinking about coming down to El Salvador, I recommend that you do, because Bitcoin adoption advocate here, get off the store of value high
Horse.
Yeah, thank you. And come and use Lightning freely. And don't give me your excuses, because you're an intelligent person who has managed to get yourself into Bitcoin, and you're intelligent enough to somehow work out how you can buy Bitcoin like a cash trade and use a self-custody wallet like Phoenix and do this. Like,
it's once you do it once, it's super easy.
Yeah.
I've had people come, no, listen, I want to keep my Bitcoin and I want to use the cash. They say I want to do that. It's the Howey, not the Howey test, but there's a law where it says that people end up using the bad money to circulate because they want to store the good money.
Yeah.
Okay, here we don't want any bad money. We just want good money, and let's reinforce that good money. If I'm, it's kind of an insult sometimes.
What's that?
If you're giving people dollars.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like, oh
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah,
oh yeah,
you disrespect them.
You dummy. You're gonna take this devaluing currency that can be issued whenever it wants to be issued for whatever you're offering me, which is probably like a nice meal or like something with love. It's like, no, it's a disrespectful to pay things with dollars. So
it totally is.
Yeah.
And we have that, like, coming back and going into the Mercado here, and we just know that everybody in the Mercado generally, like the general Mercado that we need to shop from to get variety, they just accept Bitcoin. They just accept dollars, and we know that's it. I still ask them if they accept Bitcoin, and then we just have a bit of a giggle, but I feel bad having to pay them that, because it's like, you don't know what you're missing out on.
It's just like you're fueling a black hole or something. Yeah, exactly. But bit by bit, we're on 130 now, and we're going to be leveling up this
businesses in Berlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and visit, and let's talk about speaker number 1. Conor
Okus. Excuse me.
No, it's good. I like it. It's awesome.
Conor Okus.
So I don't actually know a lot about Conor, but I'm very interested in what's happening with the company that he works for, which is Spiral. And Spiral are doing great things. I believe it's a Jack Dorsey initiative, and he's putting, like, Jack Dorsey has a lot of money that he's trying to put into initiatives that do good in the world. And thankfully, a couple of those are Bitcoin and Nostr. So the Spiral initiative is basically, it's putting out bounties and grants for people to build free open source software projects that help the Bitcoin and Lightning networks.
There you go. Spiral gives grants, and the type of initiatives that it's giving grants to are doing pretty big things. BTC Pay Server, which you have to respect for what
massive.
It provides.
Yeah.
And you just talked about wallet scrutiny, which sounds like just an amazing initiative.
Yes. And also the Bitcoin Lightning Kit, or the developer kit, Bitcoin Dev Kit, and they've also got a Lightning Dev Kit. These are special. I'm not an expert here, so people like John are probably going to be rolling in his grave as I talk about this. But they're groups of software and tools which will make it easier for you to integrate Bitcoin or Lightning into your product. So generally, it has Bitcoin and Lightning in different languages and ways that you can pull it into your project easily, I believe.
Yeah.
I may be technically wrong.
It sounds good. From my understanding, it just makes it easier for more developers to develop on Lightning.
Yep.
Right, and that's brilliant.
It is brilliant, and that's what it's all about. So I am super excited for Conor to come down, because I'm stoked that Spiral are going to have a representative come down and speak. I think that's huge. And the things that can be talked about here, like these guys.
Yeah, full forward. Let's smash it out, and it shows the wide range of topics that are going to be discussed for adopting Bitcoin as well, like from finding, developing, wallets. We have the philosophical side of things. Every single area is going to be catered for at adopting Bitcoin, even events, education.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're a project developer and you want to learn about integrating Bitcoin into your product, come and listen to these guys.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit of something we don't know about the conference, Charlie. I was listening to you talk to Mike. You spilled a lot of the beans that we've already spilled with.
Yeah, so the poker tournament has been organised, and this will lead nicely into the second speaker. But I mean, Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is the money. Bitcoin is the money of the world, and we need to understand that. And we are going to have events, including a poker tournament, which, you know, I come from a poker background. My family are coming from a poker background, so I've always respected the game and what it trains you to do, like your mind, your capital risk management, your ability to understand people's emotions, self-control. And we are going to bring Lightning into Bitcoin. So we'll have a poker tournament on day one. It's going to be a high enough buy-in. So if you don't play poker, I probably wouldn't recommend you playing. But
if people want to play, can they register? How do they do that?
Yeah, so that's coming up. The speaker who we're going to announce next is he's doing a tournament, and once that's completed, then sign-ups are going to be available. So it'll be over the next 3 weeks, people are going to be able to sign up, and that's going to be huge. It's going to have cash games, which means you can buy in with pretty much whatever amount of sats. You can play, you can leave, you can watch your favorite speaker, or you can go to the author's corner, or you can go into the exhibition hall, or you can actually buy into the tournament, and the tournament is going to have prizes for the winners. So it's a great interactive way of working with Bitcoin.
Awesome. If anybody is coming, I heard a really good explanation on Mike's talk about the transportation that's being set up. So you guys basically got pick up and drop off points at 3 major hotels? Pretty much, yeah. Right.
El Escalon, San Benito, and Gran Via. Gran Via is where Hyatt Centric is, and Marriott Hotel.
Okay. So anybody that's coming and you're curious about transportation around the region, personally, Uber has been great, and if you can get an Uber from an Airbnb to one of these major hotels and then just take the bus to the conference, that would probably be the fastest, easiest way, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And you get to share a bus load of Bitcoiners, which I'm sure will be great crack. And that's good fun, good fun.
All right, speaker number 2.
Let's
get in there. Let's talk about it. Tony Vays.
Tony Vays, just talked to him this morning. He is top man. He was a trader on Wall Street for many years, and he is a Bitcoiner focused on Bitcoin. He has a degree in financial engineering and a really sharp dude. He's set up multiple conferences before, including Unconfiscatable, where people like Max Kaiser, Jimmy Song, Willy Woo have been attending. And they go down an absolute treat, and he's going to be involved in organising the poker tournament as well. That's why it's topical. Yeah, like Tony Vays. No, he's we have like the Bitcoin world is such a wide range of individuals.
It's huge,
of characters.
Yep.
And they come in all shapes and sizes. Tony Vays is an analytical, really sharp, enthusiastic, and wants to work for the space. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Tony Vays has to say and his take on things. It's you could come in through the music route, you can come in through wanting to be able to express yourself in a country where you can't express yourself. You can want to be able to escape silly rules, or you can be involved in the financial industry and realize that it's all kind of cracking and it doesn't make any sense, and you want the world to make sense again.
That's something that I would say I'm quite impressed with. People like Tony Vays, and there's a lot of guys out there that have done this. They've been in the traditional system. I mean, even Nikki have been in the traditional finance system. Things have stopped making sense to them, and they're like, what is going on? And then somebody who knows about Bitcoin crosses their path, and they're like, oh, really? That makes way more sense. And so I love it that you get these people who have this deep understanding of what they were doing in the traditional system, and then come across and they do this.
At the penny drops, it's like, oh, right, okay, this brings so much more purpose to my life now.
Yeah, well, it does. It reinvigorates it, because people often get involved because they've got a passion about it, and they think they're doing good in the world, and then all of a sudden they realize what they're involved in is actually harming the world, and then they learn about Bitcoin, and it's like, oh wow, this is a completely different perspective. Like, it is, Bitcoin is not like just going from dollars to yen. It is like it's going from totally bad junk food to really healthy food, and that is a big step. Like, people to transition from one type of food to the other is challenging on their system in many ways.
It's going to not taste nice for the first while.
Yeah,
it's going to be a acquisitive taste.
Same with food. I mean, same with money.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's with Bitcoin, like you're probably not going to be incentivized to like it, right?
No, your brain is programmed one way. So yeah, looking forward to Tony Vays and the poker tournament. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a cool, fun aspect.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's only one of the many little events that we'll have going on.
Yeah.
If you, I was just wanted to build on what you were saying. You know, we're transitioning into this new world, but a lot of people kind of are stuck in their traditional worlds. It's kind of like, do you know that citadel and then the dark and the two roots. And if you feel like you need to start thinking about working more on Bitcoin and spending more energy and time on it, coming to conferences like these is one of the best ways. I remember going to my first conference back in Amsterdam, in Europe, and I remember meeting with a bunch of Bitcoiners, bunch of Irish guys, but I made some connections that I still hold dearly to this day, and that managed to get me into the space and, you know, really allowed me to believe that I could make a difference in Bitcoin. So if you're stuck behind a computer and you understand that this is really important and you want to get more in, but you're kind of concerned with spending your sats, which obviously that makes sense, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin is a tool. It's a tool to save, but us humans, we're the real special thing, and what we do with it, and the ideas we come up with, and how we put them into action. And the only way to do that is by talking to each other, working together, coming up with these ideas and implementing them. And this is a space where we're all coming together. We're all on the same boat. We're all on the same wavelength, and we are changing the world. Whether you think about it or not, we are doing it, and we're doing it day by day.
So much to unpack there. I'm going to try and summarize it, but a big part of it is when I first got in the Bitcoin space, I could listen to all the podcasts in a few hours, right? And now there's so many different things that happen in Bitcoin. Like, I don't even know what, like, I now need to focus on a thing. Like, you could just focus on Lightning wallets.
Right? You could, like, one type of code, like, it could be so specific.
Yes, or just Rust, or just C++, or something to build on this node development or this wallet development or whatever. It's nuts. So yeah, if you have the like Charlie was saying, the diversity of the Bitcoin space is huge now, from software projects, social projects, real world, virtual. It's huge. And then this is the event of Signal. So many people go and spend so much money on these other events that personally they're just pump fests. They're expensive. Have a real experience in Bitcoin country.
Yeah, right. A lot of respect is given to those who make the trip as well. It's like a bit of a pilgrimage in a lot of ways. And your attitude might change even if you're a bit cynical now. I find that this place fills you with optimism.
If you're cynical, you definitely need to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Come and be cynical down here.
Just do it. Guys, it's an absolute pleasure to be back with you. It's great to be back with James here after his trip to Guatemala, I have to say.
Doing it live.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And we'll see you next week for our next news update.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Talk to some people about Bitcoin and Lightning. It's all about adoption. Let's do it. Thank you.